Wikileaks has published numerous classified U.S. documents implicating the American military in war crimes and exposing other controversies. RT's correspondent Marina Kosarefa has the details.
Also known as collateral murder. It's 2010 and Wikileaks releases classified U.S. military footage showing combat helicopters conducting a series of attacks on Baghdad. And this was in 2007. And they killed over a dozen people, including 2 Reuters staff.
Come on, fire.
Hey, Roger.
Keep shooting. Oh, yeah, look at those dead bastards.
Nice. Good shoot.
Thank you.
Come on, buddy.
All I gotta do is pick up a weapon.
The footage caused outrage on one side and, of course, panic on the other. It was not the first such incident and definitely not the last. But this time, not only did it involve journalists, but more importantly, there was video evidence, which was made worse by the fact that the perpetrators were so adamant in their claims of innocence.
We regret the loss of innocent life, but this incident was promptly investigated, and there was never any attempt to cover up any aspect of this engagement.
The words that kept forming on my lips were cold-blooded murder. The US military they lied to us. It was all lies.
Suddenly, everyone knew about Wikileaks and Julian Assange. The footage was so shocking, it was picked up by most international media outlets. It made the US look bad, so the hunt was on, and eventually the source was exposed. An American soldier at the time called Bradley Manning, and later Chelsea after his transition. Well, he leaked around 750,000 sensitive military and diplomatic documents. Manning was court-martialed and convicted of espionage, among other charges, and jailed by U.S. authorities. 2010 was a tough year for the U.S. as Wikileaks delivered another bombshell, and that one really blew the lid on the true scale of devastation caused by the American military's actions abroad. The Iraq and Afghan war diaries became a sensation, the Iraq files revealing a huge death toll, as well as cases of abuse and torture by U.S.-led coalition forces.
The reports detail 109,032 deaths in Iraq, comprised of 66,081 civilians, 23,984 enemy, those labeled as insurgents, 15,196 host nation, Iraqi government forces, and 3,771 friendly coalition forces. The majority of the deaths, 66,000, over 60% of these are civilian deaths. That is 31 civilians dying every day during the 6-year period.
There were nearly 400,000 military logs. It was a mess. Washington claimed that Wikileaks was putting American soldiers in danger by releasing this information. Julian Assange, however, argued that it was necessary to expose just how many lives were senselessly lost around the world due to U.S. policies.
What is the most single damning revelation? The real story of this material is that it's war. It's one damn thing after another. Most of the deaths in this war are as a result of the everyday squalor of war.
These leaks covered the U.S. military's actions during the war in Afghanistan from 2004 to 2010. Well, they revealed coalition forces' attacks on civilians, friendly fire incidents, as well as Afghan forces attacking each other. And once again, a much higher death toll, including hundreds of civilians previously unreported by the coalition. And here's just one example.
A Marine then fired 56mm rounds at the bus. There are 4 ex-coalition forces wounded in action, 2 ex-civilian killed, 13 ex-civilian injured.
The main shock from the leaks was Washington's cover-up of the true scale of civilian casualties from the media and the public, with a staggering amount of attacks by coalition troops on Afghan civilians.
There does appear to be evidence of war crimes in this material.
These files bring to light what's been a consistent trend by U.S. and NATO forces. the concealment of civilian casualties. Despite numerous tactical directives ordering transparent investigations when civilians are killed, there have been incidents I've investigated in recent months where this is still not happening.
2011 brought new leaks, and this time it was about those detained at Guantanamo Bay, courtesy of the U.S. Department of Defense. So 779 people were imprisoned there from 2002, the eldest being an 89-year-old Afghan villager suffering from dementia, and the youngest, a 14-year-old innocent kidnapping victim. Some people were caged up for reasons like wearing a Casio watch, deemed suspicious, apparently, because they were used as timers by Al-Qaeda.
I was sleep-deprived. I was beaten till they broke my rib. I was not given food for a very long period of time. I was sexually assaulted on multiple occasions. Sleep deprivation, the first 70 days, no sleep.
An Al Jazeera reporter was detained for 6 years to prove non-existent links between the news outlet and Al-Qaeda.
Even if you put someone in hell, they are going to say it's great because they just left Guantanamo. The media is not asking the real questions. How are they going to be reunited with their families? What are they going to live on once they are released?
Hundreds of lives destroyed in secrecy with no fair trial and zero regard for the law now made headlines around the world. And the world seemed grateful that Assange had exposed how the U.S. illegally detained and even tortured innocent people for years.
Crucially, the files also contain detailed explanations of the supposed intelligence used to justify the prisoner's detention. The documents draw on the testimony of witnesses, in most cases the prisoner's fellow prisoners, whose words are unreliable, either because they were subjected to torture or other forms of coercion, sometimes not in Guantanamo but in secret prisons run by the CIA, or because they provided false statements to secure better treatment in Guantanamo.
The U.S. authorities did all that they could to destroy Wikileaks and silence Julian Assange, who ultimately paid the heaviest price for exposing their unaccountable corruption and war crimes.